This is the story of Ram, an extreme preterm born at margin of viability. This is also a story of an amazing set of parents, Ruchi and Ashish, who stood by their baby amidst grave prognostication by the clinicians, all the clinicians all around. But before I talk about Ram and Ruchi and Ashish, let me define what is margin of viability in context of babies born extreme preterm. It is said, if after live birth at a given gestation, if the survival of the baby is possible but not likely, the baby is said to be born at margin of viability. Inherent in its definition are two functions. One is the gestation at which the baby is born and the centers at which the baby is being managed. For example, the rate of survival of a baby born at 28 weeks in the West, in the centers of excellence in the West, is around close to 90%, while it may be 10% in some of the centers in not so developed countries. Even in India, the survival may differ from center to center. And this has been called 90:10 ratio. That means the survival is 90% in the centers of excellence. It may be around 10% in centers which are not so accustomed to dealing such babies or dealing with such babies. Having said that, I would choose to use the most rigorous definition. I would say any baby who's born at close to 25 weeks or maybe even lower, 24 weeks or below, is said to be born at margin of viability. So what's so special about margin of viability? Now we are aware that babies born extreme preterm have certain issues. Their lungs are immature and they're very difficult to inflate, and they may require surfactant, mechanical ventilation or CPAP to manage this condition called hyaline membrane disease because of surfactant deficiency. They are very vulnerable to infections, and scrupulous asepsis is absolutely mandatory if you want to salvage these babies. And they tend to get cold very fast, and we require very special humidified incubators to manage them for a very, very long time to keep them warm. Their brain is rather immature, and they stop breathing for no rhyme or reason. We call them apneas of prematurity, which has many reasons besides brain immaturity. There may be airway obstruction, for example. But it's a problem that clinicians find very, very hard to manage. It is a protracted battle. It goes on and on for a long time. Their brain, as I was talking about, is vulnerable to a particular kind of hemorrhage called intraventricular hemorrhage. Feeding is very, very difficult, and they have feed intolerance, and they develop a condition called necrotizing enterocolitis. Their kidneys are mature, and they develop a condition called hyperkalemia, where the potassium levels become dangerously high. There are a host of other issues which I can talk about, like retinopathy of prematurity, a condition of the retina, which is partly due to prematurity, partly due to oxygen exposure, and partly due to many reasons which are still ill understood. There is risk of hearing impairment. There is risk of developmental delays when they grow up. There is risk of chronic lung disease. They may require oxygen even at discharge. So the list is very, very long. And all these issues which are there in any extreme preterm, that means a preterm who's born below 28 weeks, are more pronounced and more severe in the babies who are born at 24 weeks or below. Now, getting back to Ram. Ram was born in middle of the night or early morning of 6th of September, as the parents would let us know. And we got a call that here's a set of parents who, because Ram showed some signs of life, he was born in a nursing home, that they want to salvage their baby no matter what. We sent our team, led by Dr. Pramod, our SR, who intubated the baby, put the baby on mechanical ventilation on a transport ventilator, and brought the baby in a transport incubator in an ambulance. After that, we gave surfactant. We put in what is called umbilical venous line to give nutrition, to give fluids, and to give drugs. And from there on, the battle started to salvage Ram. I would not go into the intricacies of it, but let me say that the same day, Ram was such a fighter that I could take by the evening, I took the endotracheal tube out of his windpipe, the trachea, and I put the baby on nasal ventilation. Ram had such profound desaturations, the oxygen levels would dip profoundly, and baby would stop breathing, baby would have apnea. So we managed that with, again, nasal ventilation and a drug called caffeine. Somehow the feeding was very, very difficult, and the desaturations would be more pronounced once we fed the baby. And this we managed by, firstly, making the feeds every hourly and giving even that hourly feed over half an hour, which means the nursing officer who's in charge of the baby was standing by the baby, and she would give the feed over half an hour, and 30 minutes later the next feed would be due, and she would be, during those 30 minutes, she would be managing the desaturation that the baby would often have. And the feed was brought by another nursing officer. And while we were managing Ram, we had 5 or 6 other extreme preterms, baby who were as tiny as 26 weeks, 27 weeks, a set of preterms who were 27 weeks, twins. And we had 25-weeker, we had a baby on nitric oxide, we had baby who underwent surgery. So it was, we were stretched to the limit, but my staff took it all in their stride and did their best. And I must say that I'm proud of what the whole team, consisting of our team of neonatologists, the attending pediatricians, and the nursing officers that we had did an amazing job. But I bow my head to Ruchi and Ashish. The way they were clear-headed. They stood by the baby. Now, a few things about Ram again. I'll get back to what Ram went through. Ram also had a condition called what is called patent ductus arteriosus. There was a very, very large patent ductus arteriosus. This is a communication between the artery to the rest of the body called aorta, and the artery to the lungs called pulmonary artery. Now, this ductus arteriosus is present in utero, and it closes after birth, but in Ram's case, it didn't, and it increased the oxygen requirements dramatically. We tried to manage PDA with certain drugs, but due to one reason or the other, it didn't work out. So we decided to manage it conservatively. Gradually, by 21 days, I could take the baby off oxygen. At the end of 86 days, Ram was close to, I think it was 1.9 kgs or something at the time of discharge. Baby was taking feeds orally. And baby does have a ROP, that is retinopathy of prematurity, but it is in a zone which is called zone 2, and the stage is stage 2 without any plus disease. So I'm very, very hopeful that as the baby grows, it would regress, and there's no risk of baby needing what's called laser therapy or other form of therapy for ROP, and I don't think there's a risk of blindness in case of Ram, but obviously he would require more frequent follow-ups. Finally, I would say that it has been an amazing experience for me as a head of the, should I say, as a clinician in charge and head of the unit, to be surrounded by energetic attending pediatricians, my neonatologists, the nursing officers, and everybody, and of course the parents.
My name is Ashish, and she's my wife Ruchi, and he's our kiddo. On 6 September 2022, he born in the morning 12, and he was born premature. He was only 24 weeks at that time. There were some complications, so he born in this hospital, and all the doctors were not ready to take that this child will survive. But when he born, he was alive, and he was his organs were there. And so we asked them that we want to take a chance, we want to take them to the nursery. So then they suggested that the nearby hospital is Manipal, and that's the best NICU which is available nearby. So they recommended us, so I said okay, we'll go there. So then they called the ambulance to the hospital, and then we reached here. Till that time there was no hope. Then at the night only at around 2 p.m. Dr. Ashok came, and we had a chit chat. He said, it's difficult, but we will try our best if you will support us. And then I said, okay, you can go ahead and please try to save. He said, we'll try our best. And meanwhile, we completed the journey. Today, he is He is there in Manipal Hospital for around 86 days. Today he is getting discharged. And I can only say that complete team of NICU and Dr. Ashok is like God for us. Because if they were not there, then this child will not be here. They are next to God to us. Seriously, it's my heart feeling.
Seriously, all the sisters, everybody was amazing for us.
So we just given a birth to the child, but actual birth were given by the NICU team and Dr. Ashok. Hats off to them and their sense of responsibilities and duties.
How they grow our kid, with whatever they did, it was exceptionally.
Because I had also googled a lot. 24 weeks child, it's very difficult to sustain, but they made it possible. And after 86 days, now he's healthy. When he was born, he was only 650 grams, and now he's above 2 kg.
And his name is Ram.
Yeah, and we are very much delighted to take him. And I am from all my heart, I want to congratulate and thanks to the entire team of Manipal Hospital and their services, and special thanks to Dr. Ashok and the NICU team, all these sisters and everyone and every ground staff also. They were very helpful. Very, very, very heartfelt thanks to Manipal Hospital.
Thanks to Manipal Hospital. Thank you, Dr.
For giving
Ashok.
us a baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.